Hello everybody, I'm Andrei, a certified translator and a real estate concierge. I have been in tour guiding for 10 years. My company has been relocating people to Belarus over the last 3 years. So in whichever capacity you are traveling to Belarus, you may find yourself dealing with Belarusian money. This is a quick, essential money guide about money in Belarus. Let's get started. As always, I would like to thank you for watching the channel, supporting the channel if possible, and for your feedback, any questions underneath. Push your likes, push your dislikes. Let's see what kind of tips we have in store for today. The currency in Belarus is ruble. It's not to be confused with the Russian ruble. We are so far two different states with two different currencies, and the denominations include 100, 200 and 500 rubles, which are the top denominations. 500 you don't really see daily in the calculations, in the settlements, but 200 is more and more often there. There are also coins. All these look a lot like euro, so if you have euro cash, you may want to split it somehow for the trip purpose. And the only official way to pay off somebody in the shop, somebody out of the shop in Belarus is Belarusian ruble. The general conclusion has been there since my guiding days and is still very much up to date. Cards work, but cash rocks. This is the foundation principle, so even if you're here for a few days, I would really recommend to have you some foreign cash, which you can always convert into local cash. Let's see why. Although geopolitics is becoming more and more challenging, it's still curious that most of the foreign cards actually work here in Belarus, and it's not about foreign cards themselves, it's about the local banks that process the payments. And only a few state organizations have a few state banks that are actually sanctioned and that disallow the transfers. I've had a few visitors from the UK, from the USA, all the, wrong unfriendly countries, so to speak, and they have been paying mostly with their cards, using it at the ATM to get the cash, using them at the receptions or at the shops to pay, and 70% or more cases were successful. Your card may be blocked by the ATM. That may be your glitch, that may be ATM glitch, but this may happen. Your bank may realize that you are traveling in the wrong country. Although you would have called them and listed Belarus as your travel destination, there's used to be a lot of card fraud here in Belarus, so they might block you after the first transaction. And so you may need a backup plan, plan B. Although the Western media generously portrays Belarus in the darkest colors, street safety is not really an issue. So based on the experience of my American tourists in the past, or let's just call them generally Western tourists, mostly American though, the fact of having some cash on your person is just all right. Daily you might have like this much. This is roughly half of an average monthly salary, and there's nothing wrong about it, there's nothing challenging about it, that's just a given fact. For cash, I would recommend to have US dollars or euro in smaller denominations, of course, which is more practical when you exchange them. As you exchange them, you may want to have mint quality bills because the banks want such, like in the most exotic countries. And you may want to skip on the exotic currencies like British pound or Swiss franc because they're not widely acceptable. Again, based on a very recent experience, mostly American banks, the ATMs work all right to withdraw Belarusian rubles. Mostly they're not stuffed with dollars, so you won't get these easily. Although there are some machines that produce dollars daily, it's not a problem. Before the cash is served, the commission is normally confirmed on the screen, so it's not a big deal and it's no surprise. From the technical point of view, the ATMs first serve you cash and you pick it up, then they beep to pick up the card, and if you wish to repeat the operation, it has to be all in you with entering the PIN. So be careful and watch the screen carefully and follow the instructions, and don't get distracted as you're doing that. Because a man, mostly it's men, who travel here and lose their cards without a card, they look a little bit, shall we say politely, lost. Don't look lost. Be creative and be attentive. From some angle, Belarusian currency is unique. You will not be able to get it abroad, so some people who bother to do that ahead of the trip are really wasting their time. You might try and get the Belarusian rubles overseas before arrival, say in Turkey, unlikely in Vilnius, Lithuania, maybe in Poland, but the rate is really not going to be any good. And practically, I would say it's a bit of a waste of your time, because once you land here, the MSQ airport offers a few ATMs even before the passport control to deal with the visa hurdles. And if you're traveling between land border and the, let's say, capital city, there won't be many occasions where you'll need cash. there aren't exchanges at the border as far as I know, so mostly cards or foreign cash to buy that insurance policy, if you didn't do it online, would help to resolve the matters. A larger city, and let's assume Minsk is your typical destination in most cases, would offer exchange kiosks working at every step from early morning till late in the evening. You may find major shopping centers or hotels having them. Hotels are better if you need to pop in and get some cash or exchange on the spot. That's a good option. And generally the rate is more or less the same across the country. So you don't really have to go there because you get a better rate. Again, we're assuming a tourist visit, not buying an apartment. In that case, you and I will be sitting together working out a solution for that. However, if you find yourself traveling to a smaller city, smaller than Vitebsk or Brest, which are regional centers and have some exchange kiosks as well, available and reachable, meaning you may want to have a supply of cash, and you may assume that your average spending budget a day will be $50 to $70. Again, depending on your daily and let's say nightly agenda, it could be different. Last but not least, the tipping culture exists and 10% is still there. And if you're having a bite, 2 rubles is the smallest thank you if you wish to thank a waiter. They're not necessarily 100% effective, and sometimes you really don't want to leave any coins. So when you're paying off with a card, you can also do the tips by card, but then it gets the headache to administrator, receptionist, of splitting it somehow and pushing through some non-existing coffees and somehow pushing this cash towards the waiter. So that's not the most human way of dealing with it. So even if you're for a couple of days, make sure you have a few small bills you can exchange and tip here and there, and just look human in all cases. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share your cash experiences in Belarus in the feedback. Push your likes, your dislikes. And if you find a few dollars, you can support the channel. It's always welcome. I hope to see you in Minsk at some point. And thank you very much. And cheers from Minsk.